Yo, once again, it's on. Back at you one more again, Real Kens TV and the House Like Kitchen Sinks. Now, before we get into today's story, if you will, y'all jump in the comment section. Let me know where you're chiming in from. I'm in Lexington, Kentucky. Let me know your city, your state, your hood, your set, whatever it may be that you represent, and let us know if you're the man or the woman that you say you be. I'm in the county jail some years ago. And I was one of those type of individuals that anytime I caught a case, it was never a misdemeanor, which is nothing great about that whatsoever. So I'm in the county jail and I'm fighting a case. And there's an individual. I had made it to the trustee pod. Trustees pod is where you maybe 3 or 4 days a week, sometimes more. You get to go in different parts of the jail and, just assist the officers, whether it be with food, feeding the inmates and gathering the trays back and cleaning up the area, whatever. Just gets you out of your cell for, 6 or 7 hours, if you will, per shift. I'm in the trustee pod, as I mentioned. And you got an officer. You got Officer Junior. Now, when I seen Officer Junior, I was really, really amazed that he was a correctional officer because Officer Junior and I were about the same age. Heck of a basketball player. When I say heck of a basketball player, I'm talking about he was all state. He was being recruited by several different Division I schools. He's about 6'5". He was a lefty. Dark-skinned dude. He was from a small town in Kentucky. And, man, this dude could really, really hoop, man. I'm talking about he could hold his own against anybody. Had the pleasure of watching him play a couple times. And he ended up catching, he didn't catch a case coming out of high school, but there was allegations that he had raped a young lady. Young lady came forward or whatever in that town. She was a white young lady. That was his preference. He liked white girls. A lot of the bigger schools, they shied away because of those allegations. So he still ended up going to a Division I school. It just wasn't like the upper echelon Division I school. But Division I to me is Division I. He goes to school as a freshman. Gets plenty of playing time. He doesn't start anything like that, but he's playing 15, 16 minutes a game. That's great for a freshman. Comes in his sophomore year. He's averaging about 10, 12, 13 points, somewhere right around in there. Next year is going to be his year. Junior year, oh man, he's really about to take off. Problem is he never made it to his junior year. Allegations came up again. Another young lady. Again, he loved white girls or whatever. Absolutely nothing wrong with that if that's your preference. I'm just simply painting a picture for you all. Another allegation comes up. This time he's actually charged, though. It's his second time within, the last couple years or so. He gets suspended. They're looking into the allegations, and it got to the point to where the school wanted to distance themselves from him, so they let him go. All the while this is going on, he had trouble with his back. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but he had like a back injury and it never quite healed. He ends up beating the charge, where the charges ultimately get dismissed. He leaves that Division I school and goes to another Division I school. Now, this is a smaller Division I school, but yet they're Division I. He goes there, and that initial year that he gets there, I believe he has to sit out because he transferred, and then he was having the back problems, but he remained in school. I got a partner named Derek. Call him D. D went to this school that, Junior had transferred to. They had gotten real tight. So I had, I went down and partied and kicked it with my partner Derek a couple times or whatever. So I had actually met Junior and, we hung out a little bit or whatever. Nothing major, but dude was just a real cool, down-to-earth dude. That year that he sits out, it goes, passes, he rehabs, he comes back for his junior year or his third year. He's doing pretty well. He's averaging, 12, 13 points a game. Comes back for his senior year. He's averaging 15, 16 points a game. But at that point, he's not a pro prospect. He's not, and he never really was quite the same because of this back injury. Like I said, man, dude was just a laid back, humble dude, man. Fast forward, as I mentioned, I'm in the county jail and I see this dude. Man, that's Junior. I'm thinking that Junior's gonna be cool, but people's like, man, don't mess with him, man. Dude, he ain't right, man. I'm like, what do you mean he's not right, man? Dude, he's a jerk. He don't talk to nobody. He just walks through. He always writing people up. And I'm like, nah, not Junior. So I'm in the cell. I go up to him. He's at the guards tower or whatever. And at the trustee pod, you have when all the cells. The guards tower's in the middle of the cell. So you got four dorms upstairs, or pods, that's what they call them, 10 to 12 people. And then you got 4 downstairs. He's in the guards tower, as I mentioned. I go up to him. I'm like, what's up, man? He's looking at me. He's like, what's up? Very, very nonchalant, as though he didn't have a clue. Okay, it had been some years maybe. I said, man, you don't remember me, man? I came down the way or whatever. Kicked it with you a couple times. I used to watch you hooping, when you was in high school. He's like, man, I don't really discuss my personal business like that. I said, that's what's up, man. I said, that's what's up. I said, we got a partner named Derek. He was like, Derek? I was like, yeah. I was like, man. He was like, I do remember you, man. I said, yeah. He was like, how's Derek doing? I'm like, man, Derek's doing all right, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking this was, going to break the ice or whatever. Dude went back to, being exactly. We talked for about 5 minutes or so. Then, I left the situation alone. I say a few weeks later, he's working the dorm. Because, see, they alternate officers. So you may have an officer that comes in today, then you may not see him again for a month. Or they may work the dorm for 2 or 3 days straight, and then, they're gone for a couple weeks or whatever. I'm sure y'all get the gist of what I'm saying. Nevertheless, there is a message. I'm in the dorm, and I go and get a razor. Whenever you get a razor, you got to check the razor out with your ID. Meaning that, okay, I need a razor. You bring the razor back, you get your ID back. One of the main things you're not supposed to do in the jails is crack the razor. Meaning that you crack the house of the actual razor and take the razor blade out. See, a lot of dudes do this because that's how they get their hair cut. You take the razor, you got like the little black combs, you put it on the little black comb, and you adjust it by like the tooths of the comb or whatever, because they're plastic, so you can pull it back and you can adjust the razor and it stays on there. And you see people getting haircuts like that. Works better than clippers. I kid you not. I've seen some of the best fades and tapers from a razor and a comb. If you're familiar, y'all jump in the comment section, let me know if you ever seen anything like that. And then when it's time to get lined up, get your beard shaped up, or your goatee or your hairline, you simply just take the razor out of the comb, and you just, always go down, though. Always go down. You shape a person up. Have you looking like you about to go to the BET Awards or something. And so, when it was time for me to bring the razor back, the barber that was cutting my hair that day, he was like being rushed or whatever. So I was like, oh man, you gotta hurry up. Bro. Dude's shift was about to end pretty soon. Well, his shift wasn't about to end, but it was going to be locked down. Gotta have his razor back. He gives me the razor back. I take it downstairs. I hand it to Junior. When I give it to Junior, he looks at it. The whole razor falls apart. Oh, man, out of all people, the whole razor literally falls apart. Mind you, as I already mentioned, you're not even supposed to take the razor out of the house. That's what they call it, the house. He was like, what's this about? I'm like, what you mean? See, a lot of officers, they don't even care if as long as you turn the razor in, that's all they care about. They know inmates, get their hair cut. Ain't nobody trying to cut nobody up or anything of the sorts. Why did my razor fall apart? I said, bro, I was getting a haircut, man. He was like, you was getting a haircut? I said, yeah, I got court tomorrow. He said, but they got a jail barber. I said, come on, man. The jail barber's an old white dude. Not to say the old white dudes can't cut hair, but the dude's an old white dude that didn't know how to cut black people's hair, man. That's just the way that it, like, anytime you went to him, it was going to be $12 for a cut, first of all. Second of all, he going to give you a bowl cut, meaning he's not going to blend it in or anything. You just going to look like you got a bowl on your head. Oh, man, they going to be laughing at you. Nah, man, I ain't going to that barber, man. Dude don't know how to cut hair. I said, come on, bro. We get haircuts in here, man. Go pack your stuff up. I said, for real, man? Go pack your stuff up. Go pack your stuff up means either you going to GP, which is, I came from GP. I wasn't really tripping about going back to GP, or you going to the hoe. You going to one of the two, probably the hoe. Major write-up to pop the razor. Like, bro, for real, man? You can ready lock me down, man, for getting a cut? What would Derek think of this, man? He just kind of look at me. For real, bro, what would Derek think? Man, go on back up to your cell. You gonna lock me down? Go on back up to your cell, man. I'm gonna think about it. I go on back up to the cell. I'm telling some people in the cell whatever what happened. They're like, nah, if he's gonna lock you down, bro, he would have already locked you down. I'm like, I don't know, man, bro. He really on some, his BS. Calls me back downstairs. I go downstairs. I'm gonna spare you, man. I'm gonna go on and spare you. But you are gonna do some extra duty. Gives me the paper towels and the little glass cleaner. I want you to clean all my windows. All the cells are glass. A whole lot of windows in there. But I was just glad to end. I ain't feel like going to the hole, man. I hate the hole. They take everything from you. You sitting in there. It's freezing cold. Sometimes they take your mat away from you. I'm just like, oh, man, I'm so glad he spared me or whatever. But the dude was really, he was just, that was the type of officer that he was. Eventually, I ended up getting out on bond, fighting my case from the street. Ended up getting more time. So I see him some years later. Now we in the pen. He done moved on from the county jail. He done went to the pen. He's trying to work his way up, through the ranks. He wants to be a captain or, eventually work his way to the feds or whatever. So now he's in the state. I'm at the pen. I see him again. Dude still the same way. Walks through. Boots all shiny. Uniform all, neatly pressed. Don't really say a word to nobody. At this point, he's Sergeant Junior. He was just Junior when I first met him. Then in the county, he was Officer Junior. Now he's Sergeant Junior. So I see him. I don't really got too much conversation for him because I know he don't have no conversation for me. I see him. What's up, man? He gives me one of those, the head nod. He don't even say, what's up, man? How you doing? None of that. Cool. Like I said, I already know how a dude is. So I'm on the yard and I get to hearing about the friction that's going on. Some friction going on between him and Big Tate. Big Tate, black dude, dark-skinned dude. Got them big old locks. I'm talking about like, man, he got like just the big old locks, man. Probably about 6'1", 6'2". He weighing in at every bit of 230. Big Tate used to play in the NFL. He had a cup of coffee in the NFL, basically. I think he lasted for like a year, and then the next year he was on a practice team or whatever. He was a running back. Dude was just swole, man. I'm talking about, dude was just cut up, man. Ended up, catching the case or whatever, as so many former athletes do. So now he finds himself in prison. I believe he had like a 10-year sentence. 10-year sentence, you do 2 years, see the parole board, and you have an opportunity to go home at that point. Big Tate had already done his 2 years. Seen the board, they gave him 2 more years because he had like a robbery charge or something like that. So that's considered somewhat violent. So they said, give us 2 more years, come back and see us. These are the classes that we recommend you to take or whatever. It's just how the prison system works. It's getting close to his 2 years for him to go back up for parole, which would have in turn given him 4 years. Like I said, I'm kind of new to the yard or whatever, so in the dorm I'm hearing, different things. It's beef between Big Tate, Sergeant Junior. Remember I said the individuals, the 2 times that he's had issues with these women, it's always some grape or inappropriate allegations that went on. Big Tate's girl that he was dating was Sergeant Junior's ex-fiance. Not just ex-girlfriend, ex-fiance. Things didn't work out. She moved on. But it was one of those things to where he couldn't quite move on. He meaning Sergeant Junior. He continued to call her from time to time, and it got to the point to where she just ended up changing her number and blocked him, and he had no access to her. Big Tate's out on visit one day, and from time to time, Sergeant Jr. will work visitation. Usually during the visitation, you may have maybe 3 officers. That's the best days, when you got the officers that are cool, that are just laid back. They don't care really what you do. Just don't do anything that's going to get them, into any sort of trouble. But when you got those cool officers on, man, it's nothing like it. But you got those jerks on, it's not cool either. Sergeant Jr. was a jerk, but he didn't really say much, as I've already mentioned. He's out on visitation, and he sees this young lady, the love of his life, Renee. He sees this young lady is coming to visit an inmate. This is why you not answering my calls. This is why you completely avoided me. Now, he can't say these things to her. She's not incarcerated, but her man is. The entire visit, Big Tate don't really know what's going on. He just notices that Sergeant Jr. is staring the entire time. But he didn't really think anything of it, because he's like, okay, I know dude's a jerk anyway. But he's staring the entire time. Finally gets to the point to where he's like, man, dude just keeps staring over here, and I don't understand what this is about. Just keep staring at me. Renee goes on to tell him, well, I have something to tell you. He's my ex. What? He's your what? He's my ex. Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me this individual? He's worked visit before. Why didn't you tell me? I was afraid. You was afraid? I was afraid. Afraid of what? It's just something that I need to know. I'm sorry, baby. I was so scared. Now it all makes sense. You see, Big Tate had noticed that Sergeant Jr. just seemed to have some sort of a disdain for him, but he, again, didn't really think much of it, because he didn't really deal with inmates and communicate with inmates like that anyway. From that point on, things completely went downhill. Every chance, every opportunity that Sergeant Jr. had, he was picking at Big Tate. I never will forget, one time it was count time, and during count time, you got to stand up and hold your ID like this. Hold it up high enough to where the officer comes by with his little clipboard, looks at you, looks at your picture on the ID, and marks you you're accounted for. He's walking through, and Big Tate got his headphones on, but he got his headphones on his neck, like around his neck, and the volume's real low. Sergeant Jr. says that because Big Tate's headphones were so loud, it disrupted his count. And he tries to write the man up. He writes the man up for disrupting count. That's another thing in prison that's huge. That you subject to go to the hole for disrupting a count. Charges ultimately get, amended down or whatever. They give him extra duty, 40 hours extra duty. But it was a bogus write-up. Like I said, shaking the man down, patting him down every opportunity that he got. Big Tate already knew what this is about. He really wants to put hands on this officer. Like, man, I'm telling you, man, bro, he lucky I'm getting go for parole, man. You know what I'm saying? Dude he don't got too many more chances to keep trying me. Think about prison. Think about corrections in general. There is no such thing as an inmate is right. You can go to the captain. You can go to whoever you want to go to, lieutenant. Report this officer. It don't matter. They're always going to rock with each other. That's just what they do. And so it was one of them things to where Big Tate was like, man, I don't really know what to do, man. I don't know what to do, because I know what this is about. Dude is jealous. Dude is jealous because I'm with old girl. And at this point, social media, it was around, but it wasn't as popular as it is now. He found a way. Sergeant Jr. found a way to reach out to Renee via social media. Listen, I'm very happy in my relationship. It's over with. How can you possibly be happy? You got a dude that has a robbery charge. You got 10 years in prison, and this is what you subjecting yourself to, coming down to a prison every week, every other week, visiting an inmate, doing a whole lot of hating. Thing about Renee, she was very, very loyal, so she's telling Big Tate all of this information. But she's telling him, she's trying to keep him calm, like, baby, just stay cool, stay calm. You don't have that much time left before you go back up for parole. You're probably going to make parole, so just chill out, be calm. Even though Big Tate was a big dude, man, he was just a laid-back dude, man. Like his exercise car, like he had people that always wanted to work out with him. So he might have 5 people in his car. They did circuit training, continuous movement. Might do push-ups for 30, 45 seconds. Then you go to the next station. Do, dips. Then you go to the next station. Might be a jump rope, station. Then you go back to the push-ups. That's 1 set. Continuous body movement. Dude was ripped, man. You could tell that he obviously had good genes, but the fact that he worked out just as well, other people gravitated towards him. Big dog, man, get in your car with you. Come on, man, you can work out with us. Very, very mellow, laid back, sort of vibe that he had about himself. At the same time, he's still a gorilla. This dude, man. And you got to understand, Sergeant Jr. being a former athlete, he had somewhat of a swag about himself just as well. He wasn't even that old. He was, at this particular time, he might have been very, very early 30s, if 30. So, he had a swag about himself, all the while. He probably felt like, if I didn't get injured or whatever, I'd be in the NBA or whatever. And that's a very, it's a possibility. Like I said, dude, he was nice on the court. Nevertheless, Big Tate already had it made up in his mind. Bro, this dude right here, man, he don't got too many more times. Well, that time came. Put your hands behind your back. Put my hands behind my back. Put your hands behind your back. Anytime they shake you down in prison, you gotta, if they pat you down, you just kind of put your arms up like this and they pat you down or whatever, let you go on your merry way. But when it comes to a shakedown, you gotta put your hands behind your back. They put you in cuffs, sit you in a chair, and they go through your stuff. When they go through your stuff, you sit there and you watch them. Sergeant Jr. would go through Big Tate stuff, and he would take a long time. Shakedowns usually 2 or 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, and they have to do it for the camera because they have to do so many per day. So you got your cool officers be like, hey man, can I gotta get my shakedown in. You don't mind because you know that they're not even looking for anything. They're just, for the camera. They're not stunting for the gram, they stunting for the camera. But when you have those jerks like Officer Rodriguez that want to shake you down and keep you in them cuffs for 45 minutes to an hour and go through every single piece of mail and article of clothing or whatever, trying to be jerks, you have those officers that do that. And as a result, I'm going to tell that story again. I've told it before. Miraculously, baby oil was put on the top of the stairs. And she found herself tumbling down the stairs. Different story for a different day. Sergeant Jr., what is this? What do we have here? Pulls out a bag of tobacco and a bag of, they call it spice in Kentucky. K2. Something that you definitely do not want to mess around with. Man, that ain't mine, man. It looks like it's yours to me. It's in your locker is where I found it. Come on, bro. Don't do this to me, man. Don't do this to me, man. That ain't mine, man. That definitely ain't. I don't even smoke. What's this doing in your locker then? You selling it? You getting this in through visitation? Come on, bro. I'm going to go up for parole. Don't do this to me, man. Don't do this to me, bro. Take him. He calls the, I guess his superiors, his lieutenants or whatever. Nevertheless, they come in, pack him up, take him to the hole. He's in the hole. Everybody knows Big Tate. Everybody knows Big Tate don't have anything to do with any cigarettes or K2, Spice, none of that. He's in the hole for 3 or 4 days. Ends up getting out of the hole. Comes out of the hole, he has a write-up. Obviously, how can I beat this? You have a decorated sergeant saying that he found this in my locker, in my possession. I'm saying that I didn't do it. How can I possibly beat this? He goes to the committee or whatever. He gets convicted. They have what's called court call. They do court call. They hear your case. You have a legal aid, which is another inmate. He goes to legal aid training for like 6 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that. It's kind of like a paralegal. And they go in and they represent you. 9 times out of 10, you're going to lose a court call because they're not really going with what an inmate says over an officer. Every once in a while, you'll win. But for the most part, you're probably going to lose. And that's what happened with Big Tate. He lost. They took some good time away from him. Suspended his visits until further notice. Commissary was gone for like 60 days, 90 days. It was just a real messed up situation because right when all of this was happening, it was time for Big Tate to go back up for parole again. As I've already mentioned, he goes back up for parole. Parole board, well, we see Mr. Tate, you just don't get it, do you? You just don't get it. You're in prison. We told you to come back with clear conduct. Take these classes. We see that you've taken the classes that we recommended. But you come back, this is a very, very serious write-up here. You had tobacco? You got tobacco in prison? You know, as they acting like you got caught with a quarter key or something like that. And the synthetic weed? He gives his take on it. Well, to be honest, you know, that wasn't mine. I don't know how it got in my locker. Have a pretty good idea how it got in my locker. Well, would you further elaborate? You know, they want to know. Well, how did it get in your locker, Mr. Tate? Well, I feel as though, you know, with all due respect, there's a sergeant, and we have something in common. The young lady that I'm engaged to right now, she's coming to see me, you know, every week, every other weekend, or what have you. And Sergeant Jr. was engaged to her, you know, some years back. He's still contacting her. He's still reaching out. She knows that, or he knows that she's with me. And I feel as though I know that he's the one that put the cigarettes. I don't even smoke. I don't use drugs. I don't. So they sitting there and they're listening. And so you expect us to believe that one of our officers, or one of, you know, the institution's most committed and highly ranked, dedicated officers will go out of his way when there's cameras to plant something. See, you don't want to take accountability for your actions, Mr. Tate. And as a result, we're going to go ahead and circle you. Circle you means serve you out. You served out. No more chances at parole. Wow. This dude done just ruined my parole. I'm thinking that I'm coming home. I done lost all type of good time. Meaning that the good time is your time off your sentence. I can't go to visit. I can't go to commissary. I got something for a dude. I got something for him. Partner's just trying to talk. Nah, Big Tate, man, just to pill it, man. Nah, man, I got something for him. The next time that dude says anything to me, I'm going in him. Pause. Double pause. Didn't take long. About a month later, put your hands behind your back. My hands behind my back for what, man? Shake down. Sergeant Jr. still didn't let up on him. See, a lot of times people wonder why I have such a disdain for correctional officers, police officers, and it's not all of them. It's just the ones that act like Sergeant Jr. That do things simply because they can. They blatantly abuse their power, their authority. Come to work, get your money, and go home. Inmates allow you all to go home. Understand that. They allow you all to go home back to your family. But you got these overzealous SOBs that come in, such as Sergeant Jr. And getting his money wasn't enough. Man, I ain't putting my hands behind my back. Oh, you gonna put your hands behind your back. Man, I'm not putting my hands behind my back. Man, you keep shaking me down every shift. You shake somebody, man, I'm not putting my hands behind my back. Whatever you gotta do, call, get you a lieutenant, get you some, whoever. Do your little signal 7 or whatever. Signal 7 in unit CC. Signal 7 in unit CC. For y'all that don't know, signal 7 is when officers act so tough. You was this and you was that. Now the inmate bucks on you and gets tough right back. Okay, well, let me see what you got, big boy. Now it's signal 7. But you was just tough just a minute ago. Now you get on your radio, and they keep a radio right there on their shoulder or whatever. It's like a little contraption that they're able to keep the radio, and there's a red button, and they signal 7 in unit CC, and that's exactly how it sounds. Signal 7 in unit CC. And you see all the officers run in like it's, you know, people's burning down or the people in a burning building or whatever. Nevertheless, Sergeant Junior, like I said, he got a little, you know, swag about himself just as well. Man, I don't need to call no signal 7, but you're gonna put your hands behind your back. Again, he's about 6'5", maybe even 6'6". Big Tate might be 6'1". I gave him 6'2" at best, but he's like 230. Like I said, dude, big. He got his wife beater on. He always walks around with a wife beater, big dreads or whatever. I ain't putting my hands behind you. And if you think you big enough and you think you bad enough, then, you know, you can make me put my hands behind my back, but I ain't doing nothing. Sergeant Junior, like I said, he's not going to do the signal 7. Takes his radio off. Takes his badge off. Takes his handcuffs, his mace, all that stuff. Shoot. We're going to get down then. I ain't ducking no fades. It's an officer. It's a sergeant. I ain't ducking no fades. What's up? They square up. Square up. Got to realize when you fight an individual that's 6'5", 6'6", you know, his arms are going to be way longer than yours or whatever. He takes the first punch, like he swings first. He misses. Junior catches him. Boom! Big Tate catches Junior rather. Catches him. Boom! Hits him with a hook. Staggers him. He goes backwards. They fighting like right there in the dorm. You know the fight's not going to last long because an officer that's in the dorm, he's going to see it eventually, or she, and the cameras are going to catch it. One thing about Junior, man, Sergeant Junior, man, he wasn't, like he said, I ain't ducking no fades. He wasn't backing down. They was in there, they was banging, they was throwing, man. Ultimately, Big Tate was just too much for him. He's just too strong. He ended up grabbing him, and, you know, they tussled for a little minute. Big Tate's yanking 450, 500 pounds, probably more than that, off the ground on them deadlifts. And he worked his legs all the time. He did legs twice a week. A lot of times in prison, you'll see dudes, they got the penitentiary bodies, they big up top, but they never really work their legs. That wasn't Big Tate. Big Tate, twice a week on his legs. Like I said, he played in the NFL, so he was already, you know, he was already strong anyway to be a running back. Gets him up in the air, and I guess all that anger, all that aggression, he got him in the air. Not just, you know, a couple feet off the ground. He got him like up like this. He goes to slam him. Boom! He slams him on his head. Not like on the top of his head, but like kind of on his neck a little bit, if it makes any sense, because as he was hitting the ground, he turns like that. So he kind of lands like kind of on his shoulders, neck, and his head. It's kind of hard to explain, but I'm sure y'all get the gist of what I'm saying. He's laying on the ground. He's shaking. When he's shaking, Big Tate walks over, stands over top of him. He could have really did him bad. He could have just stomped him all the way out. The dude's on the ground. He's he's shaking. I told you what I was going to do to you, huh? What I tell you I was going to do? Cameras had caught everything. Everybody's running in. It's about 8, 9 officers. Just calm down, Big Tate. It would have taken all of those officers to calm Big Tate down had he decided to go there with him. He backs up, puts his hands behind his back, whatever, they cuff him, and they take him out of there. It's wild because we're in the dorm, man. They bring in the nurses and all of that. Now, it's crazy because when the nurses come in, like once an inmate has gotten split, they come in laughing and joking. It's not really that big of a deal. But being that it was an officer, it dead serious. Part of his head had hit the ground, so it was blood on the ground just as well too. So they come in, they put him on the little stretcher or whatever, take him out of there. He ends up going to the hospital. Big Tate obviously goes back to the hole. He's in the hole for until, you know, further notice or whatever. Come to find out, Sergeant Jr. had broken like 3 bones in his neck. He got slammed on his neck, shoulder, whatever. 3 bones in his neck, and something happened to his back, like that old back injury that he had. Wheelchaired him out, man. Put him in a wheelchair. Couldn't walk. The same officer that walked around like he was big and bad and tough and had so much swag and was so much better than everybody else, and now you can't walk. Now you can't walk. In the meanwhile, you got Big Tate sitting over in the hole. He's pleading his case. His girl gets him an attorney. She gets him an attorney. She was a rider for real. Renee, she was a rider for real, man. Riding for her, man. They couldn't really do anything to Big Tate. Why? Only thing they could do is hit him with inciting a riot. They hit him with a write-up for inciting a riot because he was like, in front of other inmates, he's like, man, I'm not putting my hands behind my back. That's exciting a riot in prison. Refusing a direct order. But that's nothing. You can't get any outside charges. They was trying to hit him with outside charges. Assault on an officer. Then they were going to try to enhance his sentence to where he was facing 20 to life. Couldn't do it. Eye in the sky. He took his badge off. He took his you know, his belt off. Remember on Batman? Back in the day, Batman, for y'all that is old enough to remember this, and you know, him and Robin, they're in trouble somewhere, they're tied up and they're trying to get loose, and what are we gonna, Boy Wonder, what are we gonna do, Batman? Now, Robin, if I could, Boy Wonder is what he called it. If I could, you see him struggling, reach, if I could just reach my utility belt. Batman always had, you know, everything in his utility belt. Well, that's how officers, you know, they got their mace, like I said, the handcuffs, everything's on their belt or whatever. He took that off. You're no longer an officer at that point. Plus, you was the aggressive one. Plus, you swung first. All Big Tate was doing was defending himself. Couldn't end up, they charged him, but it ultimately was dismissed. After several attempts to give him, you know, a reduced sentence or whatever, once it came down to, you know, time to go to trial, they knew they didn't have nothing, so they ended up dismissing it. Crazy, crazy story, man. See, like I said, you have these correctional officers, and to this day, I'm not sure if Sergeant Jr. ever walked again. Supposedly, it was supposed to just be a temporary thing or whatever. I'm gonna have to ask my boy Derek. Man, what's going on with Sergeant Jr.? Can he, you know, did he ultimately make a full recovery or whatever? Did he go back to being a correctional officer? I never seen him again after that. And I went back to prison again after that. I've never seen him. But I'm gonna ask my boy Derek today or tomorrow, whenever I talk to him. I'm gonna ask him about Sergeant Jr. You know, a lot of times when it comes to women, and I say this so often, a dude will unalive you over a woman quicker than anything else. A lot of dudes can't simply move on. Once she says that it's over with and she's gone, and she's like really, really gone, she's not messing with you anymore, she's not having any sort of dealings with you anymore, a lot of guys can't get past that. And as a result, you have things that happen sometimes where women end up getting unalived, or the dude attempts to unalive them, or, you know, they're scaring them and threatening them. And it's a very, very scary situation, one would imagine. You know, you got those 5 officers in Memphis that got convicted of unaliving a young man when they pulled him over, and the I guess the ringleader, he was mad at this young man that they pulled over because he was kicking it with his ex-girlfriend. The officer's ex-girlfriend, they weren't even together anymore, but he knew that, oh, you the one that's kicking it with my girl? Okay, my girl. Y'all not even together no more. My girl, I got something for you. They beat the brakes off of him, unalived him. Ended up getting all of that time. For what? Because they could. See, anytime, when you got somebody in cuffs and their hands are behind their back, oh yeah, you real tough. Even in a situation, such as this, if your hands are not behind your back, if you're not cuffed, you still, in a sense, cuffed because you can't really do anything. Big Tate wasn't hearing that day. What y'all gonna do? That already took my parole. Dude done set me up. I'm being harassed. Nobody cares. So guess what? I'm gonna take actions and matters into my own hands. And again, as a result, individual ended up in a wheelchair. Hope some of you correctional officers that are so tough, that are so disgruntled when you come to work, go find you a new job. Go find you a new profession. If going into the prison every day gets you to the point to where you just have to be jerks to people for no reason, go find you something else to do. That's just my opinion on the matter. Like I said, the ones y'all that's getting your money and you just there just to salute to you, man. Got to make a living somehow, some way. Only to the jerks. Only to the ones that are really, really abusing their authorities. So you think that nothing's ever going to happen to you. You have this belief because you got your little badge on, your little blue uniform and your radio. You got to understand, people get out and they will see you in the community. It's not like, okay, person's out and they'll never see you. I'm sure that inmates see you all, former inmates see you all a lot of times when you probably don't even see them. You don't remember every single inmate that you've run across, but guess what? If you're a jerk to them, they're going to remember you. See you out with your kids one day or with your elderly mother or with your wife and totally catch you off guard. You didn't care anything about their life. You didn't care anything about them going home to their family and seeing their kids. Got this sergeant that's supposed to uphold the law, that's supposed to, it was sworn in to do the right thing. You plant cigarettes. You planting synthetic, drugs on people, man. Over a woman. Cause this man his parole. Cause this man to lose all his good time. All over the fact that she no longer wanted to be with you. I'm going to come back with an update for you all and let you know, because I definitely want to know if he ever walked again. Real Kens TV. Hopefully you like the video. Feel free to comment. Definitely share. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And be sure to hit that post notification so anytime I bring you this action and this heat, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive. Real Kens TV.